Hey, a little bit of battery. Hey, everybody. Let me get myself situated. I just came on to chat a little bit. I don't know who's on here with me. I didn't really want to come on, but I thank y'all so much for your prayers and just always supporting me through everything. You guys have no idea. Some of us aren't blessed with families, so we got Facebook. I really do. I really appreciate all the prayers that I get from everybody, all the love that I get from everybody. I'm not one to post my business, so this was deep, but I knew that I had some prayer warriors out there. I knew I had some people that really knew, that know my heart, that know me, and I just needed all the prayer I can get because right now I'm not even with my kids. So, hey, Tanisha. So I titled this "Abuse is like boiling a frog." I'm gonna explain this. So my little baby, he's the best thing ever for me. So I'm not there with him right now. He is safe. He will be coming home. Don't know when, but here's the thing. I was in an abusive relationship, and so I counsel and I try to be very supportive of women who are, fortunately his mother was in one, and the person that she's in a relationship with just kind of like kidnapped the baby. But you know, a lot of us don't know our rights when we're in abusive relationships. We don't know that. We don't know how to say, like, people be like, why don't you just leave? Why don't you just do this? And I get it because I was there. So, I try not to judge. I try to just be very supportive. But let me explain this. When you boil a frog, right, you can't really boil a frog. If you took the frog and put it in water, it's going to jump out, right? So they tell you to get the temperature where it's comfortable, where it'll sit, and then slowly, by increments, you turn up the heat. So before you know it, the frog's already cooked and he didn't even move. Well, that's kind of like abuse. It starts off where you get into a comfort zone with someone and they find it and test your boundaries. And before you can know it, they turn on the charm and they turn up the love and they do all that. And it starts real slow. So before you know it, you're already stuck in something that you didn't expect. So when you get hit that first time, or when you get talked to a certain way that first time, you're already stuck in this situation. Very emotional, very psychological, and a lot of people don't realize that it's a mental and an emotional attachment before it ever becomes physical. So then when the physicality comes, it's typically you think you did something to deserve it, or you did something wrong, therefore you're not receiving the same love that you used to, because at one point it was so dope, it was like the best thing ever. So if it changed, it must be you, because you see this same person and they're not like that with other people, they're only like that with you. For some reason, these people are just so charming. They can be narcissistic and overbearing or overpowering, and they take all their anger and they turn it inward on the person that they love the most, because in reality you are the physical outside. You're the abused person is typically in the very beginning something that they attracted to because that person was strong, and they find out that they have a weakness when they lash out abusively, but they're really beating themselves up on the outside of themselves. Those, they see your strengths, they see your weaknesses, but they see you as a version of themselves. So I get all that. The thing about it is that sometimes we don't, as women or men, I don't know, I've never been a man and been abused, but I can talk for women, for myself. Actually, I can speak for myself. We don't always make the best choices. We always want to see the best in somebody that we've chosen. We always want to make excuses for the behavior of somebody, because in reality, that person is a reflection of our choices. As women, for me, I see everybody in my life that I've chosen to connect to as a reflection of myself. It's a choice that I made. So yeah, when I was in that abusive relationship, I made a lot of excuses. I didn't even know it was abuse, to be honest. I think I was the last person to know I was being abused. So I watch a young girl who goes through these things and and doesn't understand that what may be considered normal to her is abuse by the standards of anybody else. Some of us are grown up in like relationships or households where we're used to being talked down to. We're used to not being told that we're beautiful. We're used to not being made to feel special or important, or as though that we deserve certain things. So when we attach to those people on the outside of us that treat us like the familiar parts of ourselves, like our families, these relationships, they mimic and mock the things that we're used to. we receive that as though it's supposed to be love, or it's just something we're used to. So it doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with it. You don't necessarily see that you're being controlled and manipulated and talked down to the first time you're called a bitch, or the first time you're slapped, or the first time you're stopped from doing something that you like to do, or when they try to mold you and make you who they want you to be because you're not good enough for yourself, for them, if you're not a certain way. You know, we don't notice that. We just want to be what they want us to be as in an abusive relationship, you know, until I found the love of Christ and was shown how I'm supposed to be loved through God. I didn't know that I was being loved incorrectly in most of the relationships that I had been in, but it started with the relationships that I was connected to through life, my home connections, being, you know, abandoned, left behind, being not made to feel that I was good enough or enough for anybody, even as a child, not realizing that that's what I was being made to feel like. It was normal. So it took me a long time to identify what abuse was, and until I met Christ and I realized how beautiful love really is, you know, and it starts with the love of yourself. And when you don't know how to love yourself, you truly don't know what you're supposed to expect from other people. So I just want to say this because this person has threatened numerous times to take this child. I've created boundaries in my life. I try to teach my children to create boundaries in their lives. I try to make sure my daughter knows her worth and her beauty and what love looks like, because it was given to me, you know, and not everybody's fortunate enough to have that. So the baby is now in the middle of two people who truly just don't know their worth. And I'm just going to leave it like that. So therefore, now you have a child stuck in the middle. And what I want to say is that you guys should really educate your children on what abuse is. Start to learn to love them properly so that they don't connect with people that mistreat, misuse, and abuse them and think that it's normal. I have a tendency to believe that you only accept what you're comfortable with. Some people are in abusive relationships because it's what they're comfortable with, because it's what they know, because they've never been told, even by their parents, that they're beautiful, that they're loved, that they're cared for, that they're worth something. And so they get in these relationships and all they're looking for is validation. And that validation comes along with abuse, comes along with being mistreated, misused. And all they were looking for was somebody to tell them I love them. And so the person that has the baby is just very controlling, very manipulative, very weak and condescending person who didn't know that his person was going to have a me in their life. So I won't be back home till Sunday, but I will let you know that the baby is safe, that he is being taken care of by someone who does not deserve to even be in his life because he does not know boundaries. And that's another thing. Just because you're a parent doesn't mean you deserve to be one. You deserve to be a parent when you love your child the way a child is supposed to be loved, not because you pushed out a baby. So while I am trying to do my best to show his mother the love that I feel she deserves, it's a reteaching of something that was never known. So please pray for her, because I have to learn to be patient with her, because I too was her. And I've just learned a lot more, and thank God she's in my life and not with someone who doesn't care. I thank God that that baby is in my life, so he has somebody who has saved her criminal record just in case I have to use it on somebody crazy. But as Jesus, you know. And I just thank God that I have people that pray, because we didn't know what was going on. And then I asked my Facebook people to pray for me, and I tell you, answers started happening. The father called, the baby's okay. He took his mother on his birthday, and she won't get to spend her birthday with his son, but the baby is okay, and that's all that matters. So just educate your children on abuse and the effects of abuse. It's not just affecting you, it's affecting your kids. I say this to my daughters: don't have a baby for a man. Have a baby because you want to be a mother. Because when that man leaves, you see how that person treats that baby. And I had my kids for me. Whether anybody was in their lives or not, I was going to be in their life. And if it takes for a man to walk out of your life for you not to understand the importance of your child, or for you to not give your all to a child because you don't now have a counterpart, then that meant that you didn't have that baby for you. And it's important that we just start to teach our kids about choices and decisions, especially young girls, because there's not enough love in this world. That's why fathers are so important, because if you could be a father and teach your daughter how a man should love her, she'll never be looking for the love of a man in someone who doesn't treat her right. That's why you're important. That's why you were put here first, to learn how to protect and to care, before we were given over to an enemy. Hello. So I just encourage fathers to stand up and know the importance of who you are to this world, but more importantly, God is our Father, and everybody loves to be a daddy's girl. And these girls are put into positions like this because all they wanted was love. So I'll be back home Sunday, and I'm gonna get my baby back, but I just wanted to really say thank you. And don't let your babies out here, don't let them be frogs, please. Before you know, they cooked and they didn't even know it was happening. So thank you guys for like watching and everything. It's a part of my story, and I'm healing. I've healed, from the abuse, and it just hurts to see, because now I can see me outside of myself now in this girl, and I get why she does how the things that she does. So I have compassion on her, because I wish somebody would have had the compassion on me, but I'm honest with her, and because of the choices that she chooses. And I tell myself this: it is the choices that I make that lead me into my life. And the choices that I make have to reflect what I want to see in my life. And if I want to continue to be abused, I continue to choose abusers. And I don't value myself. And so I chose me one day. And I just want you guys to just encourage people to choose them, because God chose us first. So we need to choose ourselves before we can choose anybody else. Tanisha, I love you. Lakeisha, Lisa, just, as women, as mothers, let's just start praying for these girls out here. I wish I knew then what I know now, but I don't. So because I didn't, I know that there's many that don't. And it is my goal to teach what I know now through God that I didn't know through the world or through my own family. And nobody has to believe me. And nobody has to believe in me, because Christ gave me this. He gave me that thorn in my side. He gave me that abuser, something that sticks with me, so that I would know how bad it hurts when I see somebody going through it. I don't say, oh, why don't you just leave? I try to teach. I try to help. I try to give compassion and love and understand. So it hurts to watch. So I can only imagine what it was like for my friends to watch me. So whatever you've been through, if you see somebody going through it, be there for them. Don't run away from yourself by pushing other people away that remind you of you. That's why we are given each other. God didn't give us anything but each other in the beginning. So we should treat each other like we love each other. And if we learn and teach each other to love each other, we won't have to worry or wonder if somebody loves us, because love looks a certain way. Love treats you a certain way. And if we keep raising our kids to think that abuse is love, that's what they're going to receive and accept from everybody. Everybody just tell your kids that you love them. And nothing that you wouldn't do to your kids, God wouldn't do to you. So make wise choices when it comes to them, because they are important. They are the only gift. They're the only thing in this world that we know for sure God gave us. He could have gave you nothing else, but if you have a baby, you know it's something from God. So you have to cherish everything that you get from God. Protect it with your life like he protects you every day. And that's love. God told me, I treat you like you treat your children. And that's one of the truest statements, because when I start going through it, I start to wonder, how am I treating my kids? If I love what God gave me, he loves me the same way. So when I stopped beating myself up, I stopped being so hard on my kids, because I realized when God was patient with me, they deserved for me to be patient with them. And so even if it might to me seem like, or anybody like, well, why doesn't she? No, that's my baby now. And she's going to know that somebody is going to give her patience and time, because we're going to get this baby back. Because my daddy, my daddy fights for me. You don't got to know him. But if you're attached to me, you win with me. So I just thank y'all so much for praying for my family. And it's rough out here. I have a feeling that if it's easy to be a parent, you're not doing it right. And I remember when I thought this was easy. But the closer I get to God and the more he loves me, the more I see why this is really a work. And it's something that we do continuously. It never stops. There's nothing my kids could do to make me leave them or separate them from me. And that's how God feels about me. I don't care what sin they're in. I don't care what choices they make that are stupid. I don't care if they get their baby kidnapped by accident. I'm not going nowhere. In fact, I'm closer to them right now. And so just know that that's how God loves us. So I want to tell y'all I love you too. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for praying. And thank you from the child that was misguided for being my family here. And sometimes people use this thing to just, be all. I love you guys dearly, deeply. Sometimes the only people I talk to are the ones that I speak to on here. And it's because you guys are who I have. You guys are who God has given me. Friends, sisters, and some of y'all I've never met. In fact, where I'm at right now, I'm at one of my followers' houses in Wisconsin, who I met through Facebook. And it has been the most beautiful time I've had, just with the peace and the love. And I'm grateful to God for the way that he has connected me with people through this, So when you do it in his way, it all works out in your favor. And I thank y'all for everything. I love you too, Danielle. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be back in LA on Sunday. So, Karika, hi, beautiful. And am I saying your name right? Because Karika, is it Karika or Carisha? Facebook, you never hear nobody say their name. She's so beautiful. Thank you so much for everybody who's watching. But I'm going to get off here now. I just needed to get that out because it never ceases to amaze me how God will take something and literally when two or more are praying and their hearts are in the same, like Jesus shows up. So we got everything in order. Y'all pray for the custody hearing, pray for all of that. Thank you so much for all of your support. Those who really know me know I don't do the stuff like this, but it's needed. And when we need each other, we should be able to call on each other. So I thank you that when I called, y'all answered. And I pray that y'all receive every blessing, every prayer, every push of support, every bit of encouragement that you have ever given me. I pray that it returns to you and that your steps are directed, guided, blessed, and led into the place that God has for you, as he's doing for all of us. No matter what, remember, there's nothing that can separate you from his love. He loves you like you love your children. And I pray you receive this in Jesus' name. Amen.